Where do I start? If the LDS Church still has a vice grip on you, and you don't really care to hear any criticism or poking fun, scroll on. This isn't for you. I also will be referring to the members as Mormons because it was a fucking ridiculous notion to remove it in the first place. And also, I'm not Mormon anymore, so I don't give a shit. First of all, I will say she references movies and books and quotes almost as much as I do. It made the whole religious trauma aspect a little more bearable. I will say there were a few triggers, a few things that made me a little uncomfy. She takes you through her higher class upbringing as a firm LDS child of God and her very early inclinations to venture out of the bubble. She tries to leave her fenced yard. I even wrote in my annotations, 5 pages in, and we've already covered Mormons not watching their kids properly. She sneaks past the gate and immediately regrets it. A little further in, she talks about her endowment ceremonies, and I appreciated that she shed so much light on the lunacy of temple work. In the church, you are not to speak about what goes on in the temple. It is sacred, and I'm thinking more like culty, and they don't want many people knowing the nature of the things that go on in the temple. Even their own people like me, who never dug myself so deep in the church to even get a temple recommend. People who already have one leg out the door. So I was there for it when she broke her silence of the handshakes and the chants they recite, the outfits they have to wear, the oil anointing. The thing I didn't understand though is she goes into so much depth of what goes on, but she didn't mention what her heavenly name was. I figured you already made it this far. Why not cross the finish line? And for those who don't know, your heavenly name is basically what it sounds like. It is the name that you are given for when you reach the pearly gates of heaven to be assigned to your husband. By the way, he gets to know the wife's name, but she doesn't get to know his. If that's not enough to ring cold bells in your head, I don't know what will. It has also been confirmed that the assignment of your heavenly name is just based on the day of the month you went to the temple to get endowed. Who knew heaven would be so corporate? While she's talking about the endowment ceremony, she says, "It wouldn't have mattered if they asked me to castrate a baby lamb or lay myself down on an altar. I was going to do whatever they told me to." That is fucking terrifying. The memoir moves on to her struggle with being kind of a black sheep of her family and friends, and her struggle with being single, her mission to France, touches on the meeting of her ex-husband, which, what a peach, by the way. They went to go see Scary Movie together. He gets pissed off at the raunchiness of it and insists they leave the theater. He demands a refund. Sir, have you heard of the motion picture content rating system? It says right there, it's rated R for a reason. What a weirdo. Now, she doesn't really start talking about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City until like the last quarter of the book. But I do know that she is going to make a second one, so maybe that's going to be more in depth of her experience there. It was super fascinating though to see how making a reality show works. I was under the impression that Bravo already had the idea of where they wanted to go, who they wanted to shoot. No, let's not say that. Who they wanted to be on the cast and then just go from there. That is not how it works, apparently. The cast members actually decided to make a reality TV show, and they basically shoot a sizzle reel, and then networks kind of just fight over it. And that's how Bravo won, got it, and made it into the Real Housewives that it is today. So that was interesting. When she talks about her castmates, it's kind of short and sweet, kind of almost an afterthought. She pokes fun at them. She pokes fun at them and goofs around with love, of course. Although I can't imagine these women being okay with her revealing any more than she already did. Whitney already lost it on screen, which I don't get. I don't understand why she was so pressed. There wasn't anything bad in there, and she approved it before it was published. So I don't get that whole thing. Well, whatever. The way she portrays Lisa, even through the written word, I could hear her speaking. The way she personalized the quotations, I laughed out loud. It was beautiful. She ends the book with the best one-liner ever, which I won't spoil here, but it's pretty damn funny. Her truth on the pressures of the church really hit home, and sometimes I had to sit back and breathe and recenter. There were times where she would go on to talk about the songs that they would sing that is from primary, and so then of course the rest of the day I would have those songs stuck in my head. She's a hoot. She's been very open in support of the queer community, and you can tell she's got a genuine drive to help people. I think she's gone through a lot of not feeling good enough in her life, and I truly hope she finds her happiness and love for herself, because if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you gonna love somebody else?